15 seconds.
I'm never nervous except this freaking weather.
Good morning, Illini, and welcome to the show. I'm Patch Gazone.
And I'm Becca Wood. Patrick, how are you doing this lovely Friday morning?
Good. I didn't miss the bus this morning, so that's
Hey,
a great start to my day.
That's a great start to the day.
I
to
made
the
it
weekend.
on time, so
I love that.
that's all that matters.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, let's take a look at what we have coming on the show today. A Paralympian athlete takes us along her training journey to the LA Marathon.
Dan Girardi teaches us some history lessons in Today in History.
And Liam and Connor take us to the movies with their review of Joker. So let's get started. Good morning, Illini. It certainly looks like we have a great show ahead of us today, but first, I have to ask Becca, how was your week?
It's been pretty good. It's been busy. You know, it's kind of nice that we made it to Friday, so I'm happy. How about you?
It's been midterm season, so I've had a couple of those this week,
Stressful.
but it's Friday, so
We made
I
it.
feel
We
way
made
better.
it.
Exactly. Well, outside of our lives, a lot has happened this week on campus, starting with the re-release of some very popular murals.
That's right. Last week, artist Oscar Martinez's mural returned to campus, actually. The murals were sent to Chicago in 2016 for restoration, and the paintings that were once in the old Latino Cultural Center have found a new home back here at the Illini Union and the Spurlock Museum.
Yeah, very cool. I've been to the Spurlock Museum a couple times, I know. Like Mother's Day and other big occasions when they have events. It's always fun seeing them.
Yeah, well, it's going to be great, too, with obviously having Mom's Weekend coming up in the next couple months here. Place to go. Love that.
Absolutely. Last Saturday, the Luso-Brazilian Association hosted the Brazilian Carnival at the YMCA. Live music and free food was open to the public to celebrate the famous Brazilian festival. Carnival is a celebration that leads us to Fat Tuesday, and also known as Mardi Gras. And I don't know about you, I didn't have any big Mardi Gras plans, but I love Fat Tuesday in general because get to eat all that food.
Oh, yeah.
Punchkis. Oh
my gosh, yeah. I honestly hadn't tried one until this year, so.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was certainly an experience.
Certainly.
I really did like it.
I'm
yeah,
a
the
big
donut
fan.
eating contest too in the quad, people were going all out.
Oh yeah, that was
So it was
awesome.
definitely a big Mardi Gras celebration. I mean, that certainly looks like one heck of a party.
Yeah.
Also happening on campus this week is a hot button issue. Jose Zepeda has a story on a potential new mascot.
At this time 1 year ago, the university was having a heated debate between two possible mascot ideas surfing around campus.
Champ or Alma Otter?
Alma otter.
Alma Otter for sure. Why is that?
I like otters.
Yeah, otters are actually my favorite animal, so I'm a big fan of Alma Otter.
Now, Illinois student government is set to send out a ballot next week where students can vote to see if the latest mascot proposal should move forward and be presented to university administration. The proposal? A kingfisher. But where did that idea come from? Meet Spencer Holsey, a senior studying physics. When Spencer isn't working on complicated math equations, she can be found drawing birds. Birds such as the kingfisher, which are prominent at her southern Illinois home.
We had a pond where I fished in quite a bit. We had kingfishers that lived on that pond, and so they have always been a part of my life.
Those blue and orange kingfishers are what inspired Spencer to contribute to the pool of mascot ideas. Her original design was behind a physics worksheet, which was later transferred to Adobe Illustrator. Eventually, she decided to publish her improved designs on Reddit.
The drawing was just to showcase that this is a possibility, right? It can be made to look interesting, it can be made to look different, and it's recognizable and unique.
Illinois student government quickly picked up on the design, citing its professionalism compared to other proposals.
Alma Otter, adorable, right? I think it was an absolutely adorable idea. I think a lot of people were frustrated by the aspect that it doesn't really look aggressive, and the only thing that it connects it to our university is a pun. A great pun, but a pun.
Of course, not all reactions to the design were positive. Alumni in particular have not been as favorable.
What have they been saying?
Bring back the chief.
Anything that stands out?
I would say part of their art, You know, I haven't spent too much time reading their comments. It's frustrating to continue to read it.
While many alumni have offered constructive criticism, there have been some that have accused Spencer of setting an agenda.
I just like birds. I don't have a people keep misattributing my passion for birds for political opinion on the matter, and I don't think they're one and the same.
But no matter how the students vote next week, there are only positive outcomes. But if the majority of students do vote yes, then what's the next step?
Take it to Jones. Take it to Chancellor Jones himself, right? I've been trying to email him, but he hasn't quite responded. Chancellor Jones, if you watch this, check your email.
The results of the ballot are expected to be released March 11th. In Urbana, Arnold Zayspeda. Good morning, Illini.
Wow, it's a hot button issue here on campus.
That's certainly true.
Yeah, it's a cool idea for the Kingfisher. I personally think that no mascots are right, but if people want it, I think the Kingfisher is a great option.
Yeah, it's definitely a good option. I don't know how intimidating it's going to be to the other teams, but and definitely heard some different opinions on campus. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. But
Absolutely.
Let's send it over to Jared, actually, at the news desk.
Thanks, guys, and good morning, Illini. Jared Farmer here to bring you your UI7 news desk. It's been a politically charged week here at the university, so let's not waste any time and just get right into it. First, the Illini Student Government Resolution 03.61 was vetoed by its executive branch, but issues with voting records threatened to nullify both the resolution and executive action entirely. The non-binding resolution called for the university to divest from defense companies Elbit Systems, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon, all of which have supplied weapons for the defense of Israel. The resolution passed on the Senate floor with 20 affirmative votes, but complications with the iClickers that the senators used to vote caused discrepancies in the online voting records that did not match their in-person decision. The student government's judiciary branch began nullification talks on Wednesday and will determine if the vote on the resolution followed improper procedures. If the vote is not nullified, the Student Senate can still override ISG President Connor Gisselis' veto with the resolution of a 2/3 majority. In other news, conservative commentator Ann Coulter has been scheduled to speak at the university this April. Coulter began her career as a lawyer and garnered public attention after the success of her first book, High Crimes and Misdemeanors, The Case Against Bill Clinton, back in 1998. Over the years, Coulter has remained a controversial figure for statements she has made regarding race, abortion, LGBT rights, and immigration. The university's chapter of a conservative student organization known as Turning Point USA organized Coulter's speech, which will be held in Greg Hall's room 112. The university president of TPUSA, Madeline Hubbard, said Coulter will be taking questions from attendees after her speech and that the event is a great chance to support the First Amendment. Any students who are interested in attending the event may register for it online, as well as a live stream that will be also provided for the event. And last but not least, a new bill introduced to the state Congress would prevent all Illinois schools from using a Native American logo, mascot, or any other type of Native American imagery. This bill has been introduced as the Illini continue to debate over whether or not to have a new mascot, return to its original mascot, or continue not having a mascot at all. However, Native American imagery would be allowed if the school does all of the following. The school must receive written consent from a Native American tribe within 500 miles of the school, and it must be renewed every single 5 years. Additionally, the school must conduct school-wide programs on Native American culture that should be held every semester, highlighting their contributions to society. And finally, they have to file an annual report with the State Board of Education presenting their academic programs for approval. Any school who fails to comply with this law would become ineligible to play in any playoffs. And that's all we have today for our UI7 News Desk. But for now, a look at the weather.
Well, since our regular meteorologist is out of town, we'll try our best to fill in for Will.
Yeah, we're going to have a contest today to see who can do the best Will Smith impressions. But first, we need a little bit background of Will Smith.
Yeah, I need a little refresher.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what you got.
What do you get when you combine upper level divergence, veering winds, and an insufficient moisture profile? Almost rain. We spent the whole week just getting dunked on by the snow, but now the sun bus is about to crash through and bring some warmth up in here. I came up with a little song for today's forecast. The weekend weather's gonna be okay. No? All right, back to you guys.
Let's see what you got.
Okay. All right, so got the weather today, y'all. And tuning in, I think it's really cold out today. I think we got a cold front coming in. Honestly, I don't know a ton about weather. My sinuses, y'all, have been telling me that the warm front, though, is right around the corner. And I think everyone should definitely grab a coat outside. I mean, 24 degrees. It is quite chilly out there. Y'all, it is so cold. And it is snowing. It is snowing. Don't grab an umbrella today. No, grab that winter coat. Grab the umbrella if you want to, though. Pack on some boots. In that country boots. and don't leave.
Yeah, we'll be right back after a short break. Stay tuned for a live interview with special guest Sarah Edwards.
That was so good.
I realized that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey. Ready for the...
Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back here. We have with us is Sarah Edwards, producer for Illinois Country. And I don't know if you know me, I'm a big music fan. So let's check out what they have in store. It's all about Illinois country music and homegrown
local.
here. So
Very great. Yeah.
Really cool. Let's check it out.
April 19th, 1924, WLS announced that they were going to have a National Barn Dance. National Barn Dance was dominant in country music.
Gene Autry needed a comedian as well as a musician as part of his show. He'd heard about Smiley Burnett, who was in Champaign. So Autry calls up and says, "Would you like to be part of my group?"
When I first moved to town, based on what I was hearing on country radio, I just did not think I had a chance.
I want to say something. You know, I want people to feel something. That's what music's about.
I received a phone call one day that they were planning some time of a big concert. So I said, hey, that sounds like a great idea. I'd love to help out.
The farmer is truly an American.
I heard about this fiddle player. She was 10 years old. She sure could play that Cabbage Down and Ragtime Annie. And if I put her on a stage show, I know that would be a hit. started to walk out the door and I said, Allison, do you sing? I haven't tried yet.
We just love to play. I don't know if anybody had any real big dreams other than doing a good job.
So awesome, and I'm so glad we get to hear a little bit more. So Blake is right here in the studio sitting down with Sarah Edwards. And Blake, what have you got for us?
Hey, thanks. Yeah, I can tell. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know about country music in Illinois. The first thing that I found really interesting was I didn't know Chicago from the 1920s to the 1960s was kind of the Nashville of country music before Nashville. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Man, you're stealing my lines. Yes, of course. Yeah, you're absolutely right. A lot of people have no clue that Chicago was the home of the National Barn Dance from the 20s to about the 60s. And everybody from Gene Autry, who was a major, cowboy country star, to people like Jenny Lou Carson, who people do not know, she's from Decatur, Illinois, and she is the first female to write a country music hit in the history of country, of music, really. And so people have no clue about that, how important the National Barn Dance was, and how really it can be, you can make kind of a case that the Grand Ole Opry took a real note from the National Barn Dance because it started right on the heels of the National Barn Dance. And in fact, the guy who was the announcer for the Barn Dance went down and started the Grand Ole Opry. So, I don't know.
Sounds a little fishy there, but so after watching the documentary, I saw a lot of it is being filmed in central Illinois, in southern Illinois, but then a large part of it is also being filmed in Nashville. So what was it like kind of bouncing between these two areas this past year?
Well, we went to Nashville 6 times because, as you know, a lot of people who want to make it big in country music have to move down to Nashville. So, but we made sure to strike a careful balance between having local people like Marvin Lee, who's kind of the granddaddy of country music around here, and people who've made it big like Alison Krauss. Alison has won more Grammys than anybody on the planet. And so you have to go down and talk to those people down in Nashville, and we had a great time in Nashville, and met so many really great artists like Margot Price, for example, who's also shaking up the country music world, from Aledo, Illinois, up in the western part of Illinois, and Susie Bogus, who was a huge star in the 90s and continues her career today. And so, it was so much fun.
So speaking of Alison Krauss, from the documentary, I didn't know that she was from Champaign. So when you told her that you were making this documentary to be aired on WILL in the Champaign-Urbana area, was that a little bit easier to kind of reach out to her and connect with her?
Yes, she is a busy woman. So she's very supportive of this area, and she, when I sat down with her, she remembered this Champaign-Urbana so fondly, and we sat there and spent a lot of time just catching up on what's going on here and stuff like that. So she really was very supportive of the documentary, and so supportive, in fact, that she ended up putting high harmonies on the song that we produced for the documentary.
I really liked that part of the documentary, just seeing how the song was kind of put together, and then at the end I saw that she kind of was in there doing those backup harmonies, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, she's actually going to be a part of this song that you guys created.
Yeah, she, it was kind of a harebrained idea I had at the beginning, which is, let's make an original song for this just to save money. Well, that doesn't work. But anyway, she signed on to do the high harmonies, and we got a lot of people like Sam Bush, who's a very famous mandolinist, and Mo Pitney, who
I loved his leading vocals on the track. Yeah, he sounded great.
Yeah.
So what are some of your hopes for now that this is about to be released?
Well, it's been fortunate. It's been picked up by every state, every PBS member station in the state of Illinois, so we couldn't be more thrilled. So.
Perfect. All right, that was Sarah Edwards. This is going to be airing on March 2nd at 7 p.m. on WILL TV, and there's going to be an encore presentation on Friday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. Sarah, thank you so much, and we're going to go back to Patrick.
Yeah, I'll definitely, I mean, I'm a music lover, so I'll be definitely watching that and going to that for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Blake. Speaking of the movies, our own Liam and Connor went to preview Joker, airing at the Illini Union tonight. And here's some of their thoughts.
I'm Liam Dwyer, and today with me is special guest...
You replaced me? What the... You know what you deserve? This is what you deserve.
Today we're looking at the controversial 2019 film Joker. The film follows Arthur Fleck, a person suffering with severe mental illness, living in a world that denies him the help he so desperately needs. We follow his journey from clown for hire to failed stand-up comedian to cold-blooded killer. Connor, I'm curious. Why so serious a film?
So I thought overall it was an incredibly well done film. There's great messages of needing to support people who are living with mental illness. There's a lot of just really great cinematic elements. There are times when the score hints at the events occurring on screen being fantasy. There are times when the score hints at the events on the screen being a mixture of fantasy and reality. The color is beautiful, the lighting, the cinematography. Technically, I think it is a masterclass of a film.
Now, I'm going to admit, I'm not a super big fan of the darker films with the less sympathetic characters. Speaking of which, were there things about this film that you personally didn't like?
There were. For me, the biggest issue with the film was how heavily it leaned on the fact that it took place in the greater DC and the greater Batman universe.
I think those are some excellent points, Connor. I totally agree with some, and naturally we were just going to disagree on others. But does this movie, in your opinion, get the most important award of all time, the GMI Seal of Approval, the Black Eye?
Well, yeah, I would give it the Black Eye. In my opinion, the things that the movie did well far outweigh the things that could have been done better. And overall, I just very much enjoyed the film.
I tentatively agree. I do give it the GMI Seal of Approval, but personally, I didn't enjoy it as much as I think a lot of people did. I don't really enjoy that kind of style of movie, but I have to recognize Joaquin Phoenix's performance and the message that the world just needs better mental health services is not only incredibly relevant, but just true. But that's all we have for this segment of Liam Goes to the Movies. Check us out next week when we review Bombshell with Maddie Rice, special guest, executive producer. Follow the show at GMI Illini and tweet me your thoughts personally at Illini Update. As always, good movies, Illini!
That was awesome. That was so funny. Love it, the new take on it, you know?
Yeah, Tim made a great super rat right there in the beginning.
Right? It's perfect.
It was awesome.
And I'm so excited too that they're doing Bombshell next. Actually, I just saw that with my mom recently.
Really?
Yeah, and it was really something different. And to have an executive producer come on and share her thoughts, I love that.
Yeah, very cool. It's cool. Bombshell's cool because, you know, it's a movie about journalists, so
yeah,
we can relate to it right away.
Exactly.
Anyways, if you're not going to the Union to watch Joker, perhaps tune in tonight to catch the ISN crew at 5 p.m. Let's get a glimpse of what they had in store for the show this week.
What's up, Illini fans? I'm Tristan Kizik, one of your hosts for Illini Sports Night. Tune in tonight to hear more about Illinois men's basketball's wins over Nebraska and Northwestern this week, and women's basketball's loss to Michigan State on Wednesday night. Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman also dropped some hints about upcoming renovations for a couple Illini squads. And finally, the Illinois student government voted to put another mascot idea on student ballots. Check in later to hear more about the potential new mascot and other headlines from Illini Sports Night tonight at 5.
Well, speaking of sports, let's go to Andrea Cannon for a look at her interview with Paralympic athlete Jenna Meyer.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to talk to
Jenna Meyer, who actually was a resident advisor at Newman Hall when I was a freshman, and I had no idea how cool she was. She's actually a triplet, and she is preparing for a string of marathons coming up right now. And yeah, let's take a look at what she did.
My name is Jenna Meyer. I'm from Akron, Ohio. I just graduated with a degree in kinesiology in December, and I'm a wheelchair athlete. So I was born with a congenital birth defect called proximal femoral focal deficiency. And so what that means is that when I was born, my left leg basically just didn't grow. And so at a very young age, my parents had to decide if they would amputate my foot so it could fit into a prosthetic leg. And so I've been using a prosthetic leg my whole entire life, and I didn't know anything different. Wheelchair racing is very core and arm based because a lot of the wheelchair athletes don't have use of their legs. And so some athletes sit on their legs to create more of an aerodynamic position. I am a little bit different in the fact that sitting on my legs is a little bit more uncomfortable for me, so I do sit with my leg right out in front of me. At that angle, I'm able to use my full core, and so I do get a competitive advantage in that way. This week, for example, we're doing at least 10 workouts a week, and so that's a peak of our off season. Right now, we're really picking up that volume so we can create that great foundation for marathon season, which is here in a couple of weeks. My first marathon was the Chicago Marathon in 2016, and I was so scared to compete my first marathon. You know, we always talk about the distance, but there's a big difference between talking about it and actually experiencing it. The crowds are just amazing, and so it was a great first marathon experience. So this is my third time competing in LA Marathon, and the past 2 times I got second place. And so this year I would hope for the win, but you know, I'm just going out there to really rip off the Band-Aid for the tough string of competitions we have this spring, and so I'm just going to go out there and do my best, and I'm just going to enjoy the journey.
That was such an inspiring story from Jenna Meyer, and I really hope that she does great in the LA Marathon on March 8th. Back to Becca and Patrick.
Yeah, what a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, really interesting and
so inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways,
absolutely.
Let's send it to Dan Girardi as he's doing Today in History, or making history, right?
Yeah. Let's see what he's got to say.
Welcome to another special look at Today in History. Today, in 1939, Webster's Dictionary accidentally printed a phony word spelled D-O-R-D. It was mistaken as a synonym for density. Everybody's heard about the dirt. The dirt is the word. Today in 1953, Watson and Crick discovered the molecular structure of DNA. Thanks to their discovery, I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% not allowed to finish this joke. Yep, no. Today in 1972, Beatles guitarist George Harrison crashed his vehicle and suffered minor injuries. His wife at the time, Pattie Boyd, then considered writing her own hit single, Baby You Can't Drive My Car. Today in 1983, the last episode of MASH aired. Ken didn't get to see it because, well, it was a school night. Just saying how old Ken is. Today in 2013, scientists were able to connect 2 rat brains over the internet. The rats were able to share simple sensory information. Those 2 rat brains belong to Tim and Liam. That's not a joke, that's true. That's all for Today in History. Good morning, Illini.
Well, Dan's quite a hoot.
Yeah.
He's never done a full segment on his own, and I gotta say,
Killed it.
he knocked it out of the park.
Perfect.
Anyways,
Perfect. I mean, there's certainly like great jokes in there, but I want to see a look at what you got for the weather. So.
Oh yeah, I got my stick. Got my stick here. Glad you guys stuck around. The weather this weekend is looking great. That sunbust that we love is making a turn around the corner after a cloudy Friday. That'll be 30 degrees. That sunbust is coming around on Saturday. Nice 39. Gonna be sunny. Becca, I think you won this one. Sunday,
no.
Cloudy and 57. Not too bad.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
you got the stick joke.
I concede. I think you won that one.
No, I mean, I thought it was a tough competition. You know, that was tough. But that's our show. And as always, send us your story ideas to goodmorningillini@gmail.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at GMI Illini and GMI Illini on Twitter.
Thanks for tuning in, and as always, good morning,
Illini. Are the mics